Can a man change identity? Can a man change his name? Can a man with a changed name, after being convicted for rape, get out of jail, become somebody else and evade the system for 9 years without collusion of higher-ups, big shots and influential individuals, including perhaps his father? Opening up on the Newshour Debate tonight, Jay Panda represents the BJD, Nirmala Sitharaman represents the BJP. I don't want to preempt their points of view, but Abha Singh, senior advocate and social activist, and Kavita Srivastava believe without collusion, not possible. Kavita Srivastava, would you tell us why you think without collusion, Bitty Mohanty could not have become Raghav and remained Raghav for 7 years?
See, he was granted parole in November of 2006. Now that entire parole was illegal because, it was a way out for him to get out of jail. The victim had left the country. There was nobody who was actually monitoring. So they gave a cock and bull story that the mother was sick. Now if the mother was sick, how could the parole order then have said that he can't leave the city of Jaipur in a particular address? And here he goes away. He violates parole's first norm of moving out of the city, and then the father tries to put in an application and says that he needs a psychological assessment, and after that we don't hear from him. Now there was a lot of pressure by everybody on the then Chief Minister and that government in 2006 that we locate him. Now they did file a case, there was some sort of effort, but over a period of time, nobody bothered. The BJP, which was partner with the BJD, they covered up. The father was an influential man, a very senior police officer. His colleagues were in Rajasthan. There were DGs here. There was some sort of active networking there. And after that, when this present Congress government came into power, it didn't even bother. And let me tell you this, Arnab, in Rajasthan, there is a history of turning your eye away when prisoners disappear.
What do you mean? No, 1 minute. Kavita, let's be very direct. Let's be very direct. Vasundhara Raje Scindia was the Chief Minister of Rajasthan between 8 December 2003 and 11 December 2008. Are you saying that Vasundhara Raje Scindia's government colluded to let a rapist get out of jail and remain free?
Absolutely. See, because she remained in power after that, full of 2007, full of 2008, So you for 2 years after that. And 2 years is sufficient time for somebody to be caught and to be saying, presuming he's gone abroad or presuming what the family is saying he's dead.
Okay, let's get a response, Kavita.
Giving out.
Let's get a response.
But just 1 minute. In this country, you cannot get away without the police and politicians helping you. Such a thing could never have happened without that.
The onus is now on Vasundhara Raje to respond to the very broad question as to why Bitty Mohanty jumped parole in 2006. Today, the accusation put is that you, as in the BJP government, had 2 full years to track him down and bring him to book. Kavita Srivastava does not believe you failed. Kavita Srivastava believes you colluded. Wow. Nirmala Sitharaman, would you respond to Kavita Srivastava, please?
I'm not sure I want to respond to an allegation which has been so widely thrown at us, the BJP. It is very easy for us all to say, oh yes, it is Vasundhara, is it so and so, is it so and so. Here is a case of a person who has been convicted and is imprisoned, comes out on parole and disappears. Yes, the police is an institution which is monitored by the government and all that, but ultimately he is a prisoner who jumped parole, and I think we should take it at its face value and start seriously looking at where the mistakes lie, rather than say Vasundhara collided with somebody or colluded with somebody. I'm sorry. These are, if anything, with due respect to the lady who's making this kind of an allegation, I think absolutely irresponsible comment to make. Well, I condemn it straight away.
Nirmala,
there's no way of dealing with,
Nirmala Sitharaman, can I add one thing to that? That Bitty Mohanty was granted parole to visit his mother. His mother was in Cuttack. The parole order says he's not allowed to leave the state. The responsibility of keeping Bitty Mohanty in the state is therefore of the state government.
I fully understand that, and I will still say, unless we establish the fact, and I am not trying to escape, responsibility if there has got to be one fixed. But then, much before we really find out as to how this man escaped, even being under parole,
Yeah.
it is, I think, absolutely not so responsible of any one of us to speak about the Chief Minister and say she is responsible.
Well,
therefore, I think what is important for all of us is
there is a right people have to ask the questions in a mystery case such as this.
You may ask a question.
Responsibility.
You may ask a question.
There is a moral and an administrative
You
responsibility.
may ask a question.
That's how she becomes responsible.
In my hands is a picture. And I don't know if you've seen this.
Speak for a minute?
You want to respond to her? Go ahead.
Speak for a minute.
Respond to Kavita Srivastava. Then
Yes,
Abha
because
comes.
I think what I'm trying to say, and I'm not fudging my words. If you're saying that we have to find out how this happened, it is one thing. To straight away, charge the Chief Minister, then Chief Minister, saying, "Oh, she colluded," I think is starting this debate in a very, very sensational
Well, it's a
note,
question
and I
to
will not
ask.
join in the discussion.
It's a question
You may
to
ask.
ask.
A question, but to
It's a-
allege that
it's
the
a
Chief
question.
Minister, you may ask a question. You may ask a question, or no, I have no difficulties answering a question being asked.
Nirmala
But I think the
Sitharaman.
tone and tenor with which the allegation has been thrown, I think is sensationalizing the whole thing.
That
Instead
is
of looking at where the problem
Nirmala
lies,
Sitharaman.
you seem to want to lift the debate for a level
It is not at
acceptable.
all. It is your right to have that point of view. Ladies and gentlemen, in my hands is a picture.
Yes.
And this picture is a picture of the State Bank of Travancore State Staff Learning Center. This picture is of the batch of probationary officers between 2/7/2012 and 7/7/2012. Now, I just want to point out, and we'll take the color picture. Here is the picture. Here is the picture. Now there's the color printout of the person who's known as Raghav. Bitty Mohanty. How did a DGP's rapist son get out of the system, gets himself enrolled in a public sector bank and hope to get away? Abha, we therefore have two questions out here. One, how could he have changed his identity for 7 years? The second question is about the responsibility of the state government. What, in your view, is the responsibility of Jay Panda's party, which is in power in Odisha?
See, when the party knew that this DG's son has been convicted of rape, they should have removed him that minute. By the very fact they continued to him at that important post, and he could misuse his post to manage senior officers and ensure that his son was given a parole in 8 months, which is unheard of in a rape case, and then even getting the fake driving license made, fake passport made, fake mark sheets made, and this all shows that they all are part of a criminal conspiracy under 120B of the IPC. So the government, by letting him be there, ensured that this Bitty Mohanty was given all help from the government.
Why have you given Bibi Mohanty a sort of a long rope? Why haven't you questioned him? Even tonight he's missing. Your state government has never really asked Bibi Mohanty any straight questions on this one. Jay.
Arnab, first of all, I think Ms. Kavita Srivastava doesn't have her facts right. Let me first correct the facts, and then you'll see that the state government's intentions have always been absolutely correct and its actions correct. As soon as the incident happened, the state government instituted an inquiry, because you cannot just take action on somebody without having the facts in place. And when the inquiry was completed, the father was indeed suspended, because there was prima facie evidence that there could have been collusion. So he was suspended. But in this country there are also courts of law. No. So he took that route, and he applied for legal relief, and he did get legal relief from the administrative tribunal. Now, when that happens, the state government has no choice but to reinstate him. It was not a government decision, it was a legal relief.
I'm sorry. I think you are wrong. I think you are wrong, Jay. I must correct you. The suspension was overruled by a committee under the chief secretary and not by any court. If the allegation that the state government was protecting Mohanty is indeed true, then the committee's clean chit to Bibi Mohanty also raises questions.
But let me point out that there was a proper inquiry and a hearing, and based on which he was not put in any mainline police affairs at all. He was given charge of the fire department. So he did not. The allegation that was made is that he remained
and
DG
being
of police.
DG of a state, he had his batchmates in Rajasthan. He could always talk to them. The very fact that he was a senior IPS officer, and any post, let me tell you, whether it's fire services or CID, but the very fact a senior officer was continued to work when he should have been charged under section 109 IPC for abetment. He was an abettor to this crime, and instead of putting him behind bars, he continued to be there.
Both sides of the argument.
Go ahead, Jay.
I think your viewers deserve to hear both sides of the argument.
Listening to you keenly.
One side.
Yep, go ahead.
Yes, the point is, there was a proper process followed when he was suspended on the basis of prima facie evidence, and then when that evidence could not be confirmed through the process of his appeal, he was indeed reinstated, but he was not put in mainline police operations, like I said. And even if he had remained suspended, it doesn't take away the fact that as a senior IPS officer, he would have friends not only in Rajasthan but in many different states.
But that is precisely the question. That is precisely the question that Kavita raised at the start. The system treats an ex-DGP with kid gloves, and as a result of that, Bitti lives the life of a free man. Nirmala Sitharaman wants to come.
No, Arnav, I just want to make one quick point here. Where Kavita Srivastava is correct is the fact that the parole was at all issued, because, I think many of us are shocked to understand that convicted criminals are allowed parole before the end of their term. Now, if you look at other countries, they are considered for parole after they have served almost all or a substantial portion of their term. Now here, for reasons like going to weddings and going to see ill relatives, of cases in Delhi where politically connected prisoners convicted of murder have been released many times.
So what, Jay? I just want to put one fact before our viewers. In January 2013...
Can I make just a quick point why it's important to look at this parole? It said every 2 days he would report at a particular police station in Jaipur. He never even reported once. And even that was overlooked by the authorities in Jaipur. See the collusion. And that is not examined by the Home Secretary. That is not examined by the Home Minister. That is not examined by the Chief. The Chief Minister, that is the level of collusion. He never once visited the police station when he was supposed to do it every 2 days. Of course, the father was helping him. Of course, the whole establishment in Rajasthan was helping him run away, never to return.
I take your point. My very clear question. Nirmala, before you come in, in January 2013, Times Now did a detailed story where we had a very senior retired police officer. Retired police officer say that I saw Bitty Mohanty with his son in Bhubaneswar when he was out on parole. I want to know, Jay Panda, was the Orissa government blind when we did the report? And when we did that report, why did the Orissa government not wake up in January this year? What were you waiting for?
In January of this year?
January of this year. January of this year, we did a news report where a senior ex-Director General of Police was on tape saying that I saw this ex-DGP with his son in Bhubaneswar when he was out on parole. Tell me, why did your state government do nothing?
No, I don't think you mean when he was out on parole. I think you mean when he had gone absconding. I'm not sure what the circumstances were in January of this year, because if there was any allegation actually raised about somebody having seen him, perhaps action would have been taken.
See, but, everybody sees in bureaucracy, it is you scratch my back, I scratch yours. Politicians need the police for their vested interests, and accordingly, so many times it is seen that even when police have been involved in false encounters, it is the politicians who've helped them out. And in this case, because the DG was well connected, even in Rajasthan, there was some IS officer who was related to him. And if we see on parole, the doctor said, I did not verify that his mother was sick. Then if this was the issue, why was this case not referred to a medical board? That is why it raises the eyes that the Rajasthan government was helping him, the Orissa government was helping him, and that is the reason today we have a fake passport, we have a fake driving license and fake mark sheets. It raises a thing about the country. You are making a mockery of the system, a mockery of the country.
Nirmala is rebutting you. Nirmala, yes.
The Orissa government was not helping. The Orissa government was not helping him. Although
both.
Yeah, Nirmala.
Both Kavita and Usha raised very, very important points, there's no doubt about it. Today, obtaining a passport or a driving license or anything else, happens in so many different places, and it's been given without much verification to lots of people, and every time, somebody is arrested under terrorism charges also, you hear about these sort of things. So what I'm trying to tell you here is, the system at all levels has become so laid back and so, not following due diligence processes.
But who will rectify? You are supposed to rectify. Your party at power is supposed to rectify.
Let me just finish, ma'am. Let me just finish, ma'am. I'm granting that you're raising valid points. Let me just finish, and I would request you to have a bit of patience to hear me. They are important points, and everybody who is anywhere near policy making or in administration or law making, legislatures, all of us will have to take the responsibility. Is undeniably a fact. But the fact remains that that has got to be the point on which we have also all of us to answer on our questions of accountability.